Good afternoon. Welcome to this program on cybersecurity. I'm Mary Elizabeth Bukai, and I serve as Assistant Director of the Women's Philanthropy Board. And this is a Women's Philanthropy Board Study Club program. This is the first of two sessions that we'll have on cybersecurity. And today we're going to focus on protecting ourselves from scams, cyber attacks, and phishing threats. And to lead us through these best practices, we have with us Mark Wilson, who has worked in cybersecurity for 25 years. He has been a programmer, firewall administrator, and a cybersecurity manager. He holds a Certified Information Systems Security Professional Certificate, and he currently works at Auburn University as the university's manager of cybersecurity, and has previously worked at the University of South Alabama as the director of information security. As Auburn's current cybersecurity manager, he currently leads a staff of 7 cybersecurity professionals and reports to the Chief Information Security Officer. So he is well qualified to lead us through this today. And Mark, we're so glad to have you with us. So I'll turn it over to you now.
Well, thank you very much, Mary Elizabeth. And it's great to be here and to be invited to this forum. This forum, I think, is so important that people understand the threats in cybersecurity and what you can do to protect yourself. In cyber, we talk about risk reduction. There are no absolutes. So what we try to do is reduce risk for attack or for compromise. So there is no, quote, silver bullet, but didn't want to go over a few of things that will be beneficial, hopefully. Kind of some topics today. I'm going to talk about the cybersecurity triangle, the threat landscape, some of the actors out there who are doing the hacking, if you will, and social engineering. I mention that because the human is the weakest link. That's typically the primary means that hackers or nation states use to compromise systems and credentials. We'll talk a little bit about some common scams. You've probably seen a lot of these. Hopefully you are not a victim of one, but they are out there. And with the advent of AI, it's becoming even more difficult to determine if something is a scam. Go over how to protect yourself from these cyber scams and some resources you can access. And I'll also have a hopefully time for a question period. So this is a Dilbert cartoon. I got up. Basically, security is everyone's responsibility, and I tell people ask me, well, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a cybersecurity manager. I said, my job is to make your job harder. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. Security. Historically, security was built on top of networking and programming and system access. So that's how come over the course of 25 years or even longer, we've had to bolt on security mechanisms to make to make cyber and computing a little easier, not easier, but a little safer. Want to talk about the CIA triangle. Basically, cybersecurity comes down to 3 elements: confidentiality, who should have access. Really, only you should have access to your data. Integrity. You want to maintain consistency and accuracy, and you trust. I mean, you trust your bank. You trust when you go to your bank's website, or when you're ordering something online, you trust that the integrity of the data is pure and is trustworthy. And availability. If you can't get to a website, if you can't get to your bank or whatnot, it breaks the cybersecurity triangle. So all of these elements, malicious actors use to compromise security. If you compromise one of these, it's like a three-leg triangle stool. If you compromise one, you've compromised a system. So talk a little bit about what's out there. So if you see here on the upper left-hand side, there are several methods for attack. Social engineering and phishing primarily is, I think one statistic is 82% of compromises are introduced by phishing or social engineering. You also have, you protect your system with a password, and your system is configured in a way that protects the security of it. Cell phone, smartphone, texting, social websites, social media has become a really big avenue for malicious actors that they use. I've talked about denial of service. A distributed denial of service attack is typically many systems that attack one system. So an example would be there may be many tens of thousands of compromised systems across the world that will be used to attack a website or customer or a business system. Some of the cybersecurity actors, the malicious actors, you have nation states. Nation states they're primarily act as they want to steal sensitive data, gather confidential information of another government's critical infrastructure. This is becoming more prevalent now. China is a big player in this area. So is Russia, and so is North Korea. You've probably heard in the past where certain U.S. government departments have been, quote, hacked because the Chinese are able to come in there and compromise a user account or find a vulnerability in the system, and they were able to extract data, personal data. A hacktivist, these are threat actors, then they promote political or social agendas, such as the spreading of free speech or human rights violations. They're basically politically motivated. They do attack. They are into hacking, but basically they're trying to make a political statement. Terrorist groups, they're politically motivated or ideologically motivated, and they may make threats through violence. Some of these are nation state actors. Others are maybe small groups that act on their own. And then you have just the general hackers. These are individuals, primarily individuals. They just want to see what they can hack. They want to see, they do it for fun. They do it to learn more about hacking, how networks work. One class is called script kiddies, which they lack technical skills, but they just download a bunch of malware and programs and they try to hack. So these are kind of the groups that are involved in hacking. as you can see, the trend in cybersecurity incidents has risen every year. This is data from 2019. You can see it. It's gone from about 21, and these are reported 21 million up to now over 105 million. And these numbers, I want to just point this out, that this is kind of what the trend is. More actors, hacktivists, criminal groups, nation states are getting into cybersecurity, malicious attacks. And of course, this is from like 2020, $6 trillion a year in cybercrime. And much of it is frankly not reported because it may seem as an embarrassment to a company. They've come under a cyber attack. Here's another Dilbert. Hey, this is, you got Dilbert there. He thinks it's a scam, and then the assistant thinks it's a scam, and of course you got the dumb boss, and he just clicks clicks on the link. So I talked a little bit about social engineering. Social engineering is deception to manipulate individual and divulging confidential or personal information that they can use for fraudulent purposes. It comes basically in these common methods today: a phishing email, vishing, which are phone calls, and all these, I don't know where they get these names from. Smishing is actually SMS or text messaging and impersonation. So text messages and social media are very common ways to that hackers use to compromise. And as I mentioned, in 2022, 82% of breaches involved the human element, social engineering, or errors or misuse. So some definitions: phishing, a practice of sending emails appearing to be from reputable sources with the goal of obtaining personal information. I'm sure everyone here has gotten a phishing email, and used to be, up to maybe a couple of years ago, you could spot what the phishing was. Hey, this is a misspelled word, or the language is not very smooth, or some of the grammar. But now with the advent of artificial intelligence, you can basically anyone can craft a phishing message, and it won't have any misspelled words. The language will be smooth. So the point is, artificial intelligence has really become a big player now that the malicious actors use to design an attack. Vishing is about the phone call. I don't know if you've gotten a phone call from the sheriff's department. Okay. There's a warrant out for your arrest, and hey, if you just meet me at Walmart, give me a gift card, everything's all good. So I've actually gotten some of these, and I kind of play around with them. At one time, someone called me from the Opelika Police Department. So right then I knew it was a scam. SMS phishing or texting, this is becoming very common nowadays because phone numbers are out there. And I'll get into this later, but a lot of companies, websites, what have you, they're getting compromised. The data is out there and on the dark web, and your phone number, your email, anything is probably out there. So that's just kind of the way of the world we live in. And of course, there's impersonation when someone pretends to be another person. And this is becoming more prevalent these days with the advent of AI. Here's a little bit about I'm hoping y'all can hear this.
Phishing is defined by the FBI as a virtual trap set by cyber criminals in an attempt to trick you into revealing personal information they can then use for their benefit, but at your expense. Phishing is done by using emails to lure you to fake websites or to get you to open attachments that download malicious software on your computer. Spear phishing is a targeted and a more personal form of phishing. Cyber criminals will send you an email that appears to be from someone you know, but it's really from cyber criminals trying to steal your account, password, or even financial information. Watch for telltale signs of phishing scams like misspellings, odd website addresses, too good to be true offers, threats, and requests for your personal or financial information. Never open a link or an attachment you're unsure of, and delete all suspected emails. To learn more, visit our website, helping you start secure and stay secure. I'm Steve Spano from CIS with today's cybersecurity news.
That was from the Center for Information Security. I wanted to, I've got a couple of examples of phishing that I've gotten over the years. Here's one I got recently on the left. It's actually, as you can see, it's from, I mean, iCloud is Apple's cloud servers and presence, and it's actually a legitimate website, right? This person's account was probably compromised, and you can see, hey, I knew right from the start it says David Wilson. My name's David Mark, so I know people don't call me David, so that was it. And please click the attachment. Attached is misspelled. So those are some telltale signs. Here's another one. When I was at the University of South Alabama, this email came from, this is just an example, the sender wasn't Billy Bob, but it came from a compromised account at South Alabama, and it was, hey, open this link, I want to share a document with you. And if you open the document, it landed you on a fake Dropbox page. A lot of people use Dropbox to store files and information. So it looked legit, but it was a fake. So as I mentioned, the actual in this particular last example was that the user's account was actually compromised, and that happens a lot. The URL appeared to be hosted on Dropbox, but it was not Dropbox. But even if the document is hosted on a legitimate site like Google Drive, hackers go in there, malicious, they create documents on Google Drive, and the document itself may not be necessarily malicious. It may not it may not have any kind of malware embedded. They just want your information. They want your name, maybe your email address, and your phone number, because they have important things to share with you. You've got an account that's not working now. We want to help you. So, so for this particular information at South, a lot of people clicked it. They gave up their information. We had to send out emails. We had to warn them not to, to change their passwords and so on. But yeah, that's just an example. Here's another one. This is a phishing. This is a text message. I actually got this message last month. And you can see it says, hey, I have a package at the warehouse that they can't, that it's been sitting there. So please reply yes, and open this link here, this USIPS postzip.top. Hey, have a nice day. So I knew it was a fish off the top of my head. I'm not expecting a package. It seemed kind of shady here. But one thing I did look up was the domain, which is the postzip.top. I've got to here on the right. You know, you can go in and you can discover what the domain is, who owns it, how long it's been alive. But as you can see, this domain was registered, but it was already deleted. You can see here on the April the 16th. The text message I got was sent on April the 13th, but the domain went away on the 16th. So you ask, well, why is this? Well, it's kind of like getting a burner phone. Okay. I'm going to go buy a burner phone. You know, I'm going to have the phone for 24 hours. And this is a way to elude law enforcement or you know, cyber practitioners to really contact the registrar of the domain. And if the website's only staying up for a week and they go to another website, well, it's kind of like a shell game. So these are just some of the means that scammers use to compromise individuals. There's always pretty much an urgency to respond. Got to do it now. You've only got 12 hours. So this is another method that hackers use to infect systems and to get. You may have, I don't know if you've ever been to a website, you may be surfing the web and all of a sudden you get this pop-up warning. You have a virus, or you have a Trojan horse. This is not safe. Please call us at this 888 number and we'll help you. So for this case, Bill went to the website and a pop-up showed up on his screen. So Bill called the number and gave the individual all this information. So the point is that Apple, Microsoft, McAfee, you know, Yahoo or whatever, they're not going to do this. It's just not going to happen. So the best thing to do if you become infected, really, you should contact people to remove the malware. But more than likely, for this case, best is just to reboot your computer. But always questions anytime there's a pop-up. Always question that. So here's an example of a phishing attack, if you will. This is pretty scary. Got to skip through the
The reason why I canceled my doorbell camera subscription. This brand new subscription.
Phone scams are nothing new, but thanks to artificial intelligence, they are getting more sophisticated and more believable. Scam artists are now using AI to clone voices to trick unsuspecting victims. CBS's Carter Evans takes a look at this frightening new technology in our continuing series, The Age of AI.
Jennifer DeStefano will never forget the frantic call she got from her 15-year-old daughter, Brianna.
And she was, Mom, these bad men have me, help me, help me, help me. And this man gets on, very aggressive, listen here, I have your daughter. And then that's when I went into panic mode.
The man demanded $1 million.
I said that was impossible. So then he came up with a $50,000.
She never paid the money and would soon learn the call was a popular AI scam. New software can recreate the voices of loved ones in distress, and scammers use that to ask for large sums of money.
This man comes on the phone. He said, "You're going to give me $5,000.
I heard our daughter on the phone, like it was unmistakably her.
Americans lost nearly $9 billion to fraud last year alone, up more than 150% in just 2 years.
Younger people experience fraud and fraud losses more often than older people. But since that older adult who has so much to lose.
Cybersecurity expert Pete Nicoletti created My Voice from old news reports online. What you're about to hear is something I never said. Hey, this is Carter. I need your credit card number right now. I mean, that really sounded like me.
It is you. It's cloned you. It's AI Carter.
To test it out, we called my mother. Hey, I'm about to do an interview, but I have a quick question. I need you to text me your driver's license number as soon as you can. She fell for the fake voice. I feel bad. It's a terrible. We just scammed my mom. Did you just get a call from me?
Asking for my driver's license number.
Yes, that was an AI generated voice.
Ah, Carter, that's scary. Is this the real you now?
This is the real me now.
We live in a post-real society. You can't trust the voice, you can't trust the photo, and you can't trust the video anymore.
Our voice is like a fingerprint, and that's that unique fingerprint that's being exploited and weaponized. It has to stop.
And Nora, the technology is really improving. Soon, scammers will be able to react instantly to anything you say by converting their voice into the voice of your loved one in real time.
Carter, this is scary stuff, really eye-opening. So what can people do to protect themselves?
Well, there's a couple of things you can do right away. And the first thing is to create a safe word that only your family is going to know. Secondly, you want to make your social media accounts private. Don't give that information away to potential scammers to use against you. And finally, if you get one of these calls, hang up, call them back, make sure they're really in trouble.
Carter Evans, thank you.
Hope we're back on the.
Business Bureau is warning about a potential phone scam that's making its way around the Bay Area.
Sorry
People
about
are getting calls from unknown numbers, and once you pick the phone up, the caller asks you something to get you to say the word yes.
Let's get out to ABC Action News reporter Keely McCormick live in Tampa this morning following the story for us. Keely, you dug into it. Walk us through how this works and how people can protect themselves and why these scammers want you to say the word yes.
Get back here. Are we back? Anyway, I hope we're back. So the advent of AI has made telephone calls more dangerous and believable. Voices can be cloned, and according to the Federal Trade Commission, 36,000 people were being swindled by those pretending to be family or friends. If you use TikTok, I don't use TikTok, you Facebook, or you use any kind of where your voice is on the internet, basically you can be, your voice can be cloned. So some recommendations, as he mentioned, create a safe word only your family knows. Or you may ask your family member, hey, this happened when you were a child. What was it? What happened special when you were 5 years old or something? But anyway, make social media accounts private. I'm not really prepared to go into that, but there are ways on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn to make your information private to only those people that are your friends or your family and not to the public. And if you get one of these things, just hang up and call the person back. So some common scams are demands for payment. Hey, I work for the IRS. Your taxes are, you owe us money, and you'll be fined or arrested if you don't pay. They may be, even on a text message, they may pose to be employee of the bank. And they said, hey, I've noticed unusual activity on your account, and you're asked to provide personal information. It may be something that like a Medicaid or Medicare scam. And they offer to help you with your benefits. You're asked for personal or PII. Like I mentioned, the shipping confirmation, I mentioned the text that I got. Winning a prize. I got one of these messages on the phone. This was about 8 years ago, and the guy told me that I won a car. How about that? And anyway, that was kind of fun. And the tech support I mentioned, you get a pop-up on your screen, or you get a phone call from Microsoft, or you get a text message that says, hey, there's something wrong with your computer. Hand over control to us, download this software, let us remote to your computer, and we'll fix the problem. So some ways to protect yourself. Like I said, scammers will create a sense of urgency to trick you into getting what they want. Just don't take the bait. Think before you click on links in email, on Twitter or X, and text, social media. For instance, on Facebook Messenger, I'll get a message from a friend. Well, somebody has not necessarily hijacked his account, but they created a fake account of my friend, and my friend wanted to meet me or wanted some information. Don't answer text or phone calls from unknown numbers. If they can't reach you, they can't trick you. So a lot of times, like I said, social media, QR codes, text messages, they've opened a new way for attackers to backdoor compromise your data. Keep your information private. Really, you shouldn't share your account passwords with anyone. You shouldn't. You should keep your information private. Social security numbers, passwords. If you have a chance to, I haven't gone over multi-factor authentication, but I'll go over that in a minute. But always do MFA for anything that has any website, bank, your 401 plan, your government, your Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security websites. Make sure you do multi-factor. Verify the source and enable multi-factor authentication when it's available. So here are 4 things you can do to keep yourself safe. Turn on multi-factor authentication, update your software. Think before you click and use strong passwords. I'm hoping this will work.
Four easy ways to stay safe online. Follow these tips to ensure your online information is safe from those wishing to steal it. First, recognize and report phishing. Phishing scams are online messages designed to look like they're from a trusted person or organization. We may open what we thought was a safe email or attachment only to find ourselves exposed to malware or a scammer looking for personal data. Such messages often use alarming language or make offers that are too good to be true. Report the phish and delete the message without clicking any links. Next, use strong passwords that can't be easily guessed. Make them at least 16 characters long, random and unique for each account. A password manager is a convenient tool that helps you create strong passwords and stores and fills them for you. Third, turn on multi-factor authentication, or MFA, on any site that offers it. With MFA, you add an extra layer of protection in addition to a password, like your fingerprint or a code texted to you. You are significantly less likely to get hacked when you use MFA. Finally, update software promptly. Updates fix security risks and protect your data and finances. For convenience, turn on automatic updates. Taking these steps helps secure our world. Share this video and help a friend stay safe too. For more, go to CISA at cisa.gov/secure our world.
I've got some things from CISA. There's 4 ways you can do to protect your account. You can protect your information. Turn on multi-factor authentication. You may use this. You may get a text message or a text code from your bank whenever you log in somewhere. You may use an app called Google Authenticator. But basically, multi-factor is something you know and something you have. So you know your username and password, and you have your phone. You have your phone in your hand. Or in some cases, at least on Apple devices, now there's facial recognition or there's fingerprint recognition. So that is multi-factor. Anytime you get the opportunity to enable multi-factor in any kind of digital assets you're trying to get to, strongly recommended that be done. Update your software. Pretty much nowadays, common Windows systems will come. The default is to download the latest updates. I'm talking Windows mostly here. Every first Tuesday of the month, Microsoft releases a patch update. And typically speaking, your computer probably is already configured for this, but there are ways to check that. And so it's also important on your mobile phone, your cell phone. If you see these updates from Apple, just don't ignore those. Apply the update, because a lot of times the update will be a fix for a security problem. Many times than not, but there are other features. But yeah, you should update on your mobile phones, your tablets, anything. I said this before. Think before you click. Just be real, especially from anonymous sources or something out of the blue. Don't really. Best not to click on the link if it's. If it's Regions Bank or Wells Fargo, just go to Wells Fargo, type it into your browser and go there. Also use strong passwords. Now, the main thing here is to not use the same password for every single website or app. You want to have different passwords. Myself, I use my iPhone. I put my passwords in my iPhone, and I create things in my, because I know my iPhone is encrypted at rest. Nobody can get into it unless they know my 8-digit passcode or they look like me. So, but you really want to, especially for financial sites, if you're your bank, if you trade online, Fidelity, Bank of America, American Express, you want to have a unique password for every one of those. But just basically be cyber smart. I want to mention something about mobile device security. Everybody's got a cell phone or a tablet. You want to have regular software updates. I mentioned that. You want to do that. Use strong password and 2-factor authentication. If you don't have, on your iPhone, if you don't have a strong 8-digit code, or you haven't enabled fingerprint or facial recognition, it's very important that that be done if your cell phone is ever lost. Encryption, as I mentioned, encryption is for iPhones and for Google phones. It is encrypted at rest. Whenever you're in a coffee shop or a restaurant, yeah, you can use their Wi-Fi, but I wouldn't go to my banking website on the public Wi-Fi or any kind of financial website. But you want to make sure that the Wi-Fi network is recognizable, and that if you have any questions, just ask. Don't use it. Use your cell data, or ask somebody in the who would know. Installing apps from trusted sources. I go to Apple's App Store. There's also Google Play. You want to get the reason why apps are from trusted sources is that Apple and Google, they go through a process to check the software, check it for a security, check it for that it's hardened, that's gone through all the security and software checks that's necessary before they'll even allow the app to be installed in their store. Back up your data. If your device is ever compromised, you can still have access to it. iCloud is one method that iPhone uses. And just stay informed of the latest threats and how to deal with them. Education is the most effective defense for cybersecurity threats. And I know I've gone long, but here's some resources that I use. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. That's a great website. Another one is staysafeonline.org. This is a great resource. They have information on social media, your private settings, if you're job hunting, or what to do if you're hacked. Some travel and safety tips, security tips, securing your home network. There's also DNS, domain name service. Domain name service is the phone book of the internet. People don't remember numbers. They remember, yahoo.com or CNN.com or foxnews.com or whatnot. But to get to that, DNS has to be configured. So I use something called OpenDNS. OpenDNS is a free service. It does a great job of not allowing a person to, a device to go to a malicious site. Microsoft/security is a great website. Apple/security. Thing about Apple does a great job of security. Your phone's encrypted at rest. It has the Face ID, and your iCloud. Through iCloud, you can find your iPhone and you can erase your iPhone. The FDIC provides some information on cybersecurity basics. And YouTube's a great resource for cybersecurity. If you want to learn more about it, that's a great resource. So I've kind of gone long. I do have, I'll leave this up, but I'll answer some questions if you have any. I'll try my best to answer questions. If anybody has questions.
You mentioned with the malware not to call any resources, that come up on the pop-ups, but that if your computer does get infected, then you need help from someone. Who would that be? Who would you call them?
I think Best Buy or Office Depot has as professionals. I would probably ask some friends perhaps, but those two, I haven't done it much before, so I know that Office Depot has I believe they have a way to do that, and Best Buy.
Okay, thank you. Other questions?
I hope I didn't overwhelm people, but it's just
No?
accessing these resources, you can find a lot. As I mentioned, the Stay Safe Online is a great resource. And so is CISA. And but mainly just beware if you ever ask for information, or it's a sense of urgency, or you get a phone call. Just be really suspicious. And my best advice is just to hang up and call your loved one, or call your bank, or call or to go online. So, but it's basically, phishing, social engineering, like I mentioned, is the mechanism by far that malicious actors use to compromise.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for watching the video. And like I mentioned in the introduction, this is the first of a two-part series. So the next session is going to be exactly a week from today at 12 o'clock via Zoom. You'll use the same link that you received when you registered. And we're going to talk about what to do if your identity is stolen, or if you are a victim of some of these scams, like what steps you can take. And Mark will be leading that session as well. So we hope to see you all again this time next week. Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.